Welcome to the Nerdtastic in 3D podcast.
It's Nerdtastic in 3D. Oh, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. Yes, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. It's Nerdtastic
in 3D.
I'm currently the bank. I'm the bank right now. I can make all the creative decisions.
Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nerdtastic in 3D episode number 54. My name is Jason Carter.
I'm Jack Eckler.
I'm Josh LeBrot.
Cinco cuatro.
That is correct.
That's supposed to say that right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Jason Pecco.
Sean Fenner.
I'm disappointed in Pecco.
I'm Sean Kearney, too.
Aren't we all?
Amen.
Adam McFarland.
And Nerdtastic in 3D is an entertainment industry podcast full of entertainment industry veterans apparently finding our intro boring.
We gotta spice it up.
Yeah.
Cuatro y cinco times. We gotta spice it up.
Yeah.
Should we start saying
next week? It's all you.
I think we should announce only the prime number episodes.
Or we should start saying it in Russian because everything sounds better in Russian. It's like broska, broska.
Hold on, let's try
Don't you have
it.
to change it
Let's
depending
try
on who
it.
you're
Do
talking
it.
to?
Do an intro.
No, I'm not gonna. We already done an intro. I want to be put on the spot next week.
Okay.
When I've had time to think about it.
That pretty much was on the spot.
No, I want to be put on the spot later.
I want to commend the dramatic pauses today in the show. The names.
We're going to keep that up.
Sean's were amazing. Adam, that was trying.
I'm out of soda,
It's been
so-
done before, man.
Coattails. That's all I
the
gotta
best you
say.
can do.
All right.
Oh my God, the things we could talk about on today's show as I look on our Evernote list.
Our hacked Evernote list.
It is a hacked. We were
Did
hacked.
anybody do
We're
anything
that
with
popular.
Yeah.
What did
Somebody
they do?
posted bullshit things for us
Someone's
to talk
making
about.
millions
Yeah.
of
Somebody
dollars
posted
on
something about Star
our
Wars.
Evernote.
Yeah.
Someone's making millions of dollars on that shit.
Somebody came on our board and posted, no shit, that Carrie Fisher is coming back to do Star Wars.
Yeah, and
right.
that means it's got to be true. So
Ugh.
what the fuck?
confirmed
does that
it.
all-
I don't know, Josh. What do you say? Guessing that you know the magic poster. What do you think?
Wait, did Josh hack our account?
Oh my God, Josh, was it you?
I did. Inside job, junior.
It wasn't
I would have
me.
guessed Kearney, but
No.
then again, Kearney doesn't know any of
I don't know
our
the
passwords.
password. Yeah, I don't remember
That's
the
why
password.
had to hack it.
That's why he had to hack it.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true. Hacked soars the planet.
hack the planet.
Hack the planet.
So can we all agree that Carrie Fisher is the least talented of the three from Star Wars, right? Like Harrison Ford the most, obvious. Then you go to Mark Hamill, who is the second most talented. Like he does a bunch of cool voices, blah blah blah. Carrie Fisher has been the least useful to society or the entertainment world.
How are you
since
not
Star
keep
Wars?
Chewbacca, C-3PO?
No, that's true. They're all dead.
See, I really remember
I mean,
Mark Hamill
Victor.
for his role in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So that's what really sticks out to me.
Didn't he
not
play
Star
Mark
Wars.
Hamill?
Yeah, didn't he?
And the Nutcracker guy? At Mark Hamill as like nut.
I'm
puncher.
rooting for Fisher. I might be the only one in this room who's rooting for her to come. What part do you think they're going to give her to start with, first of all? Do you think it's literally going to require any skill? Literally,
true.
we could throw Adam in there with her, and they'd be like, those two nailed it.
First of all,
I'm just throwing names out. I was spitballing.
I've got acting chops and stuff.
Let's hear it.
I hope the opening
prepare
scene-
for my scenes.
once again, he's
I'm
got
not
to
a
prepare.
performing monkey, okay?
Monkey.
Is
That's
improvisation
exactly what you
not
are.
a part
Yeah.
of your acting repertoire?
Isn't the big thing though, like the thing that I'm missing is where the fuck is Lando? Like really,
Exactly.
You're bringing back
Billy D
Leia?
totally needs
Didn't
to
he-
come
Where's
back.
Billy D?
Didn't he
Billy
die in
D,
Rocky 4?
He's
I
in
thought he
almost.
died of a cocoa overdose.
That was a character.
That's a wrong black person.
But he's in almost all of the mainstream books. Lando comes back in almost every single mainstream book out there. Why not
Yeah.
put Lando in the movie?
Racism.
I think Lando should be in it.
I think
This
he
is
should
the
too.
racism episode of the podcast.
That was a genuine mistake.
Doesn't make it
making
any
me
less racist.
That makes you even more racist.
It's making me laugh so hard on the inside.
Are you thinking of Carl Weathers?
That's why I was losing it on the inside. I'm like, that's not the
You
same
know what's
black
funny
person.
though
You
is
mean Chubbs from Happy Gilmore?
we've had this conversation before.
Damn gator took my arm off.
Jason Pecco and I have had this exact conversation where I've brought up Billy D. Williams, and you've confused him with Carl Weathers, and I've called you racist for it.
Well, that's not. I don't think it's racist because I really genuinely think they look alike.
No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. You know who it was last time? It wasn't Billy D. Williams. You thought Carl Weathers was Lou Gossett Jr. That's who it was last time.
Because they clearly look alike. I get that.
Which one's Luke Gossett Jr.?
Iron Eagle.
And he has no hair.
And Stargate SG-1.
I don't know
Bald.
who that is.
Because that was the
He's
thing.
a
We
black
had
guy
a
also.
conversation, and I was like,
One was in Predator.
Yeah.
One wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like,
Carl Weathers was in Predator.
yeah.
That's when he almost blew out.
Oh, is it
the
all making sense
cameraman's
now?
eye.
It's all making sense now.
Because I
confused.
said something about Lou Gossett Jr. and Pecco went, I don't know who Lou Gossett Jr. is. And so I Googled him and showed him a picture, and he went, oh, isn't that the guy from Rocky IV?
Maybe. I don't recall that ever happening.
Carl Weathers plays Carl Weathers in Arrested Development. Does that help?
I know who he is.
No, you don't. You think he's Billy D. Williams.
I can picture
Apollo
it now.
Creed, right?
Picture it now. Yeah.
Yes.
Action Jackson.
Hey,
Come on now.
So the Princess Leia article was interesting. The one that we have on our podcast topics document. Wow, slaughtered that. But it's interesting to me not because Carrie Fisher has confirmed that she's playing, but because there's a quote in there that says both Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill have openly talked about how they've been approached by George Lucas and different people if they have any interest. That's as far as they've said. There's been no confirmation I'm in it, nothing like that. But there was one other thing that I thought was interesting, which is if you're not interested, we're not going to recast those characters. We're just going to write them out.
That's good. I think that's good.
It's a smart decision.
It's strange because it must mean that George Lucas really isn't involved, because I would have figured he just would have replaced it with some shitty CGI version of it. Right? Like, that's his MO.
I kind of want to see CG Carrie Fisher.
No, you
I
don't.
think it's. I think it's once again. I think it's
I
Abrams
know what you want.
being able to use them correctly, and I think if they use those characters like Leonard Nimoy in the Star Trek revival, it'll be great.
Oh,
Small
no, I
bits.
want them to be the leads.
You
And I'm not
want
even
the
kidding.
movie to really be about
I'm not even kidding. Like,
old-ass Han Solo
I
and-
think that would be a kick-ass movie. What
It
if the
could
movie
be. It
was
could
about
be.
old-ass Han Solo? And it was like, that's what drove it. I would fucking watch that movie.
He would just be a grumpy drunk. And
Now, do
just
they
like,
go the
that
route
would
they're
be it.
married? Now, do
I'm
we
sorry,
go that
is there
route?
something wrong
What do you guys think? Do they
Oh,
go?
yeah.
Do
They
they
have
go
the-
that route? Like
They have their children.
poor Harrison Ford's married to this crackhead I'm looking on
Hey,
screen.
speaking of-
is
They
that
have
going to
their-
happen?
They have their children. They're all super force sensitive. That would be awesome.
That would be super cool. Like, what I'm afraid of
They're
is that
accidentally
it's just
crushing
the
people's
children.
heads because they just can't control it
Yeah.
yet.
So
I wanna see
speaking
the
Sorry.
Incredibles with those guys.
Speaking of.
Where you
I
going?
looked over and I saw a picture of Carrie Fisher. I was like, oh. So speaking of Han Solo, someone explained to me what this whole Han didn't shoot first or Han.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You
I don't
don't
get
know?
it. I don't know what the deal is.
Sean,
Take away your nerd
Greedo
card.
shot first. Is that what
give
it is?
Benel his moment.
In the original, unedited, unspecial edition version, Han shoots first under the table. Greedo's just pointing his gun, and Han's like, "Hey, whatever," and shoots him. Right? In the special edition version, George Lucas fucks it up, and he actually has Greedo fire the gun, and Han's head goes "Wah," like literally sideways, because that's, I guess, how they could get the effect to work. And the blast hits next to him, and then Han fires. And all of that stuff was added digitally after the fact.
So this is
in
a
special
complaint
edition.
about his liberties he took with the special edition.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the whole, he doesn't want him to be like an
Well, was
asshole
it-
just killing people.
So is the complaint that it changed? Because I thought the whole idea with the special edition is it was George's chance to make put the things in he really wanted to be in there in the first place.
Like young Darth Vader as a
the
ghost at the
Jedi.
end. That
Yeah.
was like the best part.
And like
Yes.
a weird ass musical number in the fucking Jabba's
Yes.
hut. In Jabba the Hutt's hut.
Jabba the Hutt.
That was horrible.
Like, there's so many things. Like, it was too much. I think is the problem, is that it was just a dude who had endless amounts of money and endless amounts of time, just like, I'm just gonna masturbate.
If he could have made that movie that way when he made it, I think the audiences would have looked at it as a like, what the fuck is this? Instead of, oh my god, an epic film. But who knows?
And he should have stuck to the backgrounds.
Isn't the whole like point of Han Solo's character is that he kind of was a villain to start with, and he kind of like flipped over and became a good guy. So like that kind of plays in, like the original lends to that way more than the fact that he's like a good guy and he shot second. You know?
It's like the whole ET
It's
thing.
like chaotic neutral, kind of.
You heard the ET thing? We're like
E.T. shot first?
no, when
Elliot was an asshole.
E.T. pointed his light finger first.
during the whole re-release thing, Spielberg replaced the guns
with
the police
flashlights.
with flashlights and
And
like,
radios.
walkie-talkies.
And they took out a line. There was a line they're getting ready for go trick or treating, and the mom goes, "You guys look like a bunch of terrorists." And the re-release was, I think, like 2002, and she changed it to "You guys look terrible" or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hooligans. And then
Hooligans.
the hooligans ride up, and they'll be like, well, now you look like children that
Yeah.
are dressed inappropriately.
We had an awesome line in Monster House, and we knew it wasn't going to last. But they come in, and the house has just been exploded, and they're all covered in dirt, and it's Halloween. So they come up, and the mom's just like, "Oh, what do you guys? What is it? What are they called? Homos?" And he goes, "It's hobos, Mom." And she's like, "Oh, that's right, hobos." I was like, "This line is awesome," but of course, there's no way that was.
I thought
going
you were
to
gonna be like,
stay.
"Get off my lawn!"
Off my lawn. But yeah,
What you were saying, what you hope that it's going to be the older ones. Like, think about what J.J. Abrams did with Star Trek and recasting like some of the younger guys. Like, I don't think that if they would have brought Shatner back and made an old version.
Yeah,
of that,
I think
like,
that's a different. I feel like that's a
different movie.
That would have
different.
been
Yeah.
hilarious. Is what
I
it
do
would've
feel
been.
like Star Trek and Star Wars are a lot different, where I think that you could. I mean, they did a very serious take on Star Trek with the remake or with the whatever, the reboot. Whereas I think with Star Wars, you could get away with doing that
you
old
could.
one,
Slightly, but you have
know.
to introduce new like they. I think the age they're going to come in at, they could have teenagers. Is my guess is what they're going to do and it's Disney. They're going to try to appeal to that market, but you need to build them up in this film a little bit at least,
and you need
for
to
the
have-
next two.
You need to make a franchise. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I heard an interview with John Hamm, and they were asking him why he didn't get cast as Superman in the new Superman. And he's like, nobody wants to cast me. He's like, I'm too old. He's like, nobody's looking to make one Superman movie. They want to make 5. And if you need to cast somebody who can be in 5, you're not going to cast me. And he's probably, 20 years younger than Harrison Ford? Like, there's no way what you want to do. I mean, even Indiana Jones was like, get Shia LaBeouf in there so that if
We
this
could
takes
set this
off,
up, right.
we
Right.
can have the next one when Harrison dies.
I mean, my
So
only
Shia
hope
LaBeouf.
is that they treat the film franchise the way that the storyline is designed, like, or with the way the universe is designed. Like you said, Star Trek and Star Wars are very different, and that's true because Star Trek is truly a science fiction like environment, world, universe. Star Wars is not. Star Wars is a science
mythology.
fiction fantasy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more fantasy element than science fiction element in there. And mystic, and I think they need to keep that.
But that's where I think
if
if
J.J.
they go with the
Abrams
kids.
goes like woo techie, it's not going to be a Star Wars movie.
No, but I think they do that you were joking about, like these kids. They can have kids who have are trying to come into their own and be powers, and you can have Uncle Luke showing them what's up, and ghosts of
Uncle
little
Luke's the new Obi-Wan.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
He is actually. He
But with
tries
the-
teaching Leia too, and she just doesn't have time for it. She's dumb.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for that.
The thing,
I'm 70 years old.
Barbecue.
Too old for the training.
the thing with the remaking of the movies, though, that I hated with Star Wars was the fact that, those movies, what made them so good was the fact that they were limited in technology and special effects and things like that. And it would be like even though that wasn't George Lucas's intent when he sat down and wrote them, and a lot of those scenes were written. There's a whole Jabba the Hutt Han Solo scene in Episode 4 that he was like, we couldn't pull it off, and now we can. It's like, well, yeah, but also Jaws, you never see the shark because the shark didn't fucking work, and it's a better movie because
less
of
is
it.
more.
Yeah, and I think that it's him being so stubborn to understand, you know what, you might not have written it this way, but you stumbled upon something that was better than what you intended to do.
Right.
But this
And,
is the
you
best
know.
part about Lucas not being involved.
Yeah, and that's
In-
why I
in
think
my
that this is
opinion.
why it's finally going to be good. Is that hopefully these people are going to be free from Lucas going, well, 50 fucking years ago when I came up with all this, I had this idea for episode 7 that was going to be like this, and now there's a new guy who's just like, oh, I've read all of the fiction, I understand the story hopefully, and he's like, I'm gonna come at it without all these preconceived notions that Lucas has.
I mean, past that, you just have a good director.
Yeah, that's
who's
true, too.
literally
Because
going
Lucas
to
is just
direct
pretty terrible at
actors.
what he does.
And then, like I said, I keep going back to the Star. I mean, obviously Abrams has done tons of movies. I go back to Star Trek because of the cast being kind of unknown, and they fucking killed it.
Yeah.
All of them did really good acting wise.
Yeah.
Even Kumar or Harold did an Oh, was that the wrong Asian guy? Wait,
No, one's
of them's
Indian,
Indian.
one's Asian. It's completely
Whatever.
colorblind.
Asia.
the problem is I
anti-response.
actually knew who I was talking
You
about.
were in the right
Jay.
continent, I think.
Yeah.
Jay.
Even Tyler Perry is great in Star Trek.
He's in it?
Tyler Perry is in Star Trek.
He
He's
is.
the dean.
He's one of the.
Who is he?
He's
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
He's like
He's
the head of the
he's-
school.
He's the head.
Oh shit,
Of
he
the-
is, isn't
he's
he?
the-
He's
in
the
it
head of
because
That's
I was watching
That's not
it.
Billy D.
He's the head of the council that is trying.
You sure that's not Carl Weathers?
That's Carl Weathers.
I'm pretty sure that's for.
Am I off?
That's Forrest Whitaker. That's wrong.
But it's okay because I got one
Appreciate
black
all
friend.
races.
I got one black
except
friend.
for that
Kevin,
one.
Kevin, these were for you, buddy, if you listen. And I know Josh has one black friend, so
The
I'm
thing
in.
is, just so everyone here knows, we're not making fun of black people. We're making fun of Jason Pecco being a racist.
Really, that's what we're making fun
That's what
of.
this is about.
Did you watch? It was Saturday Night Live, and they did like a whole really thing, and I can't remember who they were talking about, but it was like about somebody being racist, and it's just like, but he said he has like he has like a black friend, so of course he's not racist. He goes, that's actually probably worse than saying you have no black friends. Like I would respect you more if you said you didn't have any black friends, as opposed to, but I have one black friend. It's like, you racist son of a bitch.
Did you go out of your way to find him? I don't get what you're saying.
The best thing ever is I
Feeling
have
emancipated?
this quote from Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he got in trouble a couple of years ago for using the N-word, and his response was, "I thought I was close enough with the black community to use that."
That is fucking
amazing.
balls of steel.
Fair
If you're a
enough.
bounty hunter.
Dog the
Did he
Bounty
say
Hunter.
they're my N-word?
I don't think he had those kind of balls.
Wow.
What was the Wheel of Fortune? And it comes up in the. Have you seen that?
Yes, that's a South Park thing, and it's awesome.
Like somebody's like
Things
he's
that
like,
annoy you.
and he just keeps looking. He's like, I can't say what that is. I can't say what that is.
It's
They're like,
it's the words that are exposed are N blank GGERS, and the topic is things that annoy you. So he's like, I'm just gonna say it. And he spits out that word, and his son's at home watching it, and he's just like, oh my god.
I just like. I
No,
love the.
actually, it was naggers. Naggers was the word.
I love how they show the internal struggle. Like he's looking. He looks at the host. He looks back and he's like, I can't say that.
But then the best is he goes to like a support group for people that have inadvertently done something racist, and it comes to one guy and he's just this like young dude. He goes, "I was trying to be ironic."
Hey, I'll go all science-y on us for a moment. I watched a TED Talk today that I thought was particularly fascinating about how exactly they caught footage of the Kraken, the giant squid, for the first time. Did you guys hear about this? Like six months ago, I
I
think.
saw the footage. It's pretty
fucking
on
impressive.
Discovery.
I haven't
Is
seen
it
it
online?
Is it like? Does it
it
show
online?
scale of this thing?
It looks fake.
It's,
Like I thought it was fake. I was like, "There's no way this thing is real." And they're just like, "Yeah, there it is, totally." Because the way it's moving around and stuff, I was like, "Is that really?"
and it's a giant squid.
It's
It's 23 feet long.
it's crazy.
So they knew for a fact that these things existed at one point in time because I think like 2 years ago, a chunk of ice floated up off of the North Pole that had one frozen in it, and it went to Japan and they thawed it out and they had a real specimen, right? But they didn't know how old it was, and I don't know. I didn't track the story that far, but I know that like 6 months ago they said, hey, we found footage. They did a Discovery Channel thingy on it. And then I saw a TED Talk today with one of the lead scientists about how exactly they went about doing that. How can a 20-foot long sea creature exist in the sea somewhere and we've never photographed it?
There's a lot of sea out there, man.
Yeah,
That's true.
Serious.
But you would think, we've captured a lot of different stuff. But I thought
Mostly by accident.
I thought this was particularly interesting because her approach was really fascinating. It was basically that. Are we all listening to it on
We're
our
all-
respective
Well, I
devices?
want Adam pulled it. I just wanted to see it.
So the gist of this is that the scientist had theorized that we had been approaching the bottom of the ocean all wrong, and that we were scaring off all of the creatures rather than intentionally trying to attract them. And so her whole thing was she put a hydrophone, a microphone, underwater microphone on the bottom of the ocean, and she passed by with some of like the top submersibles, and she had audio recordings, and she's like, this is this submersible, and played it, and it was kind of like soft, and then she's like, this is this submersible, and it was like this crazy noise that would that would scare the pants off me. And then there was one that sounded like a 12-year-old girl screaming in one consistent note. and it was like these are the sounds that creatures are probably hearing. So she's like, we had a submersible that had no engine on it pretty much, and then we kind of knew whereabouts we thought they might be, and then they had this optical lure is what they called it, and what it was this pulsating blue light that kind of looked like bioluminescence. And she explained what the theory was, which was a jellyfish, a deep sea jellyfish will have that as a defense mechanism and will pulsate light when it's being attacked by a creature. And so what often happens is a giant squid or another bigger creature will see this bioluminescent light and come in and get the bigger one, hopefully freeing the jellyfish. And this is like
a bigger fish.
The
Circle of life.
the circle of life food chain kind of a thing.
Damn it.
So they had this light and it totally worked. And then she showed footage of it, and it was and the best part was she showed the footage of the thing and then the camera on their faces, and they all freaked out about it and stuff. But I just thought it was fascinating because it's such
That's cool.
But it's really simple, right? Like everybody just drops down with a submarine and goes, "Let's see what's down here." And she's like, "Well, I wonder if we're disrupting what's down here. Maybe we should approach it a slightly different way." Yeah. And what an easy solution! Let's make something that's quieter, and let's try and attract them by what their natural surroundings are. I just thought it was cool.
So Nessie might be real.
Nessie is real.
Okay.
Bigfoot
is not.
I think Bigfoot's real.
I think Bigfoot's under the water.
Nessie has big feet.
That's true.
So this thing was 23 feet long?
A two-story building, basically.
Was it as big as the submarine they were in or whatever? Submersible? Do you know?
They weren't in the submersible. It was just a...
Oh, like camera?
Yeah.
This video I'm watching has them in a submersible. Maybe it's the wrong video.
Is it?
Is it this one on Discovery's website from Curiosity?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I think you're right. Because at one point she does...
I'm sure they were freaked out.
She talked about how he shined a flashlight. One guy shined a flashlight because he freaked out when he saw it, but he wanted to see it better, and they thought it was going to scare it off, and it didn't. And then he turned the headlights on to try and get like HD color video of it. You're right. I totally forgot about that.
It took off.
No, it didn't at all. It stuck around. I don't know why.
It was like, fuck you. I'm the size of two.
I could take you out.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
I
It's
might
just
eat
like
you
floating
right now.
there.
Yeah, it's
What
crazy.
is it?
Like everybody's pulling out their phones like to take pictures.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like you look at it, and that's what I was wondering with scale. Because if you've ever seen video footage of out in Japan, the giant tuna. Have you ever seen how big these tuna?
They're
400, 500 pounds.
Gigantic.
There's some video of people who
that.
it's a sport, but they spearfish after these. There was a story I had listened to about this guy. He had hit one and hadn't realized the size, and he had shot it at a distance in the ocean. And when you're underwater, it's like that. You really don't get a sense of scale. You have no idea, and it was shimmering. As it got closer, it passed him like with the same speed as a semi, and was about as big as that with the line on him. And it took him for like half a mile or something crazy on this like ride before I think he let go. Actually,
I saw this video that was shot by the Coast Guard of a marlin that was on a hook, and it actually pulled the fishing boat over onto its side.
Oh, I saw that.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think this table is 20 feet, I think.
Wow. Fill this room.
the tentacles are one thing. I get those would be long.
Yeah.
The head though part would be the part to freak me out. Like if that was just
It's not 20 feet with the tentacles. It's 20 feet without.
I don't know.
Oh, 20 feet without?
I think it's 23.
Because the tentacles
total.
can go super.
Well, that's what I thought it was total.
Yeah, they stretch them all the way out though. But
Because I feel
you
like a
imagine how
giant
much-
squid should be bigger than that.
can you
Either
imagine how
way,
much
that's a-
ink
that's
that
a
squid
big-
could hold.
It's a
lot
big
of
creature.
Oh, no doubt, dude. I'm not getting
That's
wrapped up in
crazy.
that thing.
Because the last time I seen a kraken, it was bigger than like a pirate ship, and that doesn't seem.
Reese.
They used to have small pirate ships.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the one
Everybody
that
was significantly smaller.
They
back
were called
then.
You're gonna get
schooners.
serious. He's getting serious over
the
here.
one that used to scare the hell out of me was 20,000 Leagues Into the Sea, the old Disney one, like way back in the day when that giant ass squid would be wrapped, tentacles around, and that little mouth with like the
beak.
beak. I was just like, oh god, like I was terrified.
Is that
Terrified.
with Kirk Douglas?
Wasn't he in all of them back
I
then?
guess he was in all of them.
If there was a movie
That was really weird.
and it was
Disney.
made in the 40s,
Kirk Douglas was it.
he starred in it. I don't
Who's
know.
Kirk Douglas?
He was Rocky. in Rocky.
Just Rocky 4, though.
Yeah, he was Apollo.
You maybe have seen
He's Chubbs.
in other great works like Rocky, and Rocky 2.
His
Rocky
famous
3.
line: "I must break him."
He was the Rush.
He played the Russian. He's a versatile actor, Kirk Douglas.
Totally is. I'd say
That's
so.
Michael Douglas's
So
dad.
Hey, you know something.
I'm gonna
it
bring
serious?
I'm gonna bring up some old shit. As I was told, as I was called out that it was old shit that we have talked about. I clearly was there, as I'm being told as well. I don't remember the conversation. So we're doing it again because I watched it fresh. I watched a video today that had a video that I don't remember seeing. Period. That I guess was from CSJ. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Of Illumiroom, but I had heard it through the basis of it being included with the new Xbox, and that's the
I've
part
heard
I
this
didn't
too,
remember.
Actually, this just came up to me yesterday. Somebody said, "Hey, have you seen the new Xbox?" And I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" And then they mentioned the room thing, and I went, I think that's old news."
Because the video is interesting. It was posted by Woody's Gamertag, who's crazy YouTube Call of Duty guy, a
Pulled it
couple
from
million.
IGN.
And he had pulled video from IGN, but what was interesting is I guess today or yesterday they were going to have a talk. Microsoft was pulling in reporters who supposedly won't leak information in to talk and show off their new gear. And one of the rumors he had heard was about this Illumiroom technology. I don't know how. After I've watched the video, you can go to IGN. I'm going to try to I'll post a link up on Facebook as well. I don't know how I felt about it. As a novelty of being like if all the lights were off in my room, or if I had a great big white wall behind the game, it might be kind of cool. I think it wouldn't be a selling point for me. Me personally, period.
Well, I think because the way you think about it and the way I think your head is thinking about it, like. You feel like you're supposed to be utilizing like that screen.
No, actually, that's what I'm saying. That's why. No, that's my thing. That's why personally, it's a novelty for me. I think, like he says in the video, if third-party people get a hold of it and can make it into something cool like that, then maybe for me or who plays a little more hardcore with games would be into it. But the novelty of just it splashing colors here and there behind my screen or whatever around my furniture and all that crap. Dude, I don't know. It's like a novelty feature to me.
It needs to dice you up and put you in the game.
I mean, Sean, you saw it today. You
I
didn't
watch
remember.
it.
I mean, what'd you think of it?
I don't know. I don't know where I sit with it. I'm like, some parts of it seem cool, like when you're playing the FPS and you can see the extension of the video like up on your wall. That seemed kind of cool. Having like all of your shelves and shit like wobble when stuff happened. I don't know. I feel like it's visual overload. Like for me, at my age, that's visual overload. I'm sure kids will eat it up. And they'll be like, "This is the best thing ever."
And that is part of
Would
the
you?
point.
Is it part? Here's the other question I was going to ask you guys. If it was part of it's one thing. If it was a paid add-on, would you pay to add that on?
I'm the wrong person to ask. Of course I would.
No, you. Well, fuck yeah.
Is it a gimmick?
I
Does
think
it
it's
cost
cool.
my money?
I think it actually is really, really cool. I would totally get it 100%.
Some of the footage they've shown
Why?
has shown like full-on extensions of the gameplay, like tracer rounds that are being fired at you from the left-hand side will, they'll come further from like your bookshelf into the TV screen. So like, I think it depends. If we're talking about the Philips, throw the color behind the TV kind of a thing, I'm out.
I think
but if it's like a legitimate, like, hey, we're going to project like extra gameplay into your periphery, then absolutely.
And I think it's supposed to read your room and know that you have a bookcase in order to make it look like it's wobbling.
Yeah, like when
And
it
shit
was
like that,
doing
that
the
looks
whole
pretty cool.
that one with the Mario Kart racing and like how it was in the snow and it was just kind of it was all dark and it kind of looked like it was snowing like while you're going there. I thought that was like really cool.
I
It would
think-
totally immerse me into it like way
Agreed.
more. I would really, really enjoy it.
I think if like that
more
stuff's
so
awesome.
than stereo.
If it's going to actually require me to actually pay attention more outside my already 60-inch TV,
No.
I can't. I can barely keep track
that's
of
the
that
thing.
I don't think that's it.
No, and that's
No,
the thing
that's what I'm
too.
saying. So
Like,
as long as it never doesn't become like, well, I can now see a guy running up on me, and I have to now scan all the way left, all the way right.
Yeah.
I can
yeah,
barely
to me,
keep
it's
track
just
of the
supposed to
TV I'm
like,
looking
yeah.
at.
I just think it just helps my peripheral and immerses me into it,
Yeah.
like way more. Like how you were saying, it would be cool if like they had the HUD thing. I'm like, to me, that would be horrible. That's when I'd have to look. That's the whole thing where you're just like, oh, why not just paint your wall white and get a projector and then make it like that
The
big.
full screen.
Yeah.
But if it like is wrapping around your bookcases or something and just kind of creating this bigger immersive experience, I think it's way cool.
I think there's a bigger question, though, that I have, and this is coming off of me being super disappointed with the PlayStation announcement, and now with this going like, what is a system seller anymore? Like, I don't know.
It's
Like,
it's
what
gimmicky.
do you want? Like, what? We're like right now. I think the question that I would pose is: all right, Microsoft announces the new Xbox. We're all gonna get it because we have to replace our old Xbox. But let's imagine you live in a world where you didn't. Like, what would you want to hear that would make you go, oh, I want to buy this machine. Aside from software, aside from, well, it's the only place I can play Halo 5, Call of Duty 12, whatever, you know?
I can't wait for that Call of Duty 12. Good.
Well, I mean, to go to that part too, it's like, you know, yes, it is kind of gimmicky, but it's something that enhances your experience that you don't have to do anything for. Like the Kinect, you have to sit there and it's like, oh, it does this. And like I said, the coolest part that I think about the Kinect is the fact I can do it vocally if I don't have like my remote around and like just get up and run to the bathroom and yell out Xbox pause. You know, anything besides that, I don't need to wave my hand and swipe the screen. To me, that's all way too much effort, gimmicky, don't need it. But like, you know, with the Illumiroom thing, it, you know, you don't have to do anything. It just does that for
But
you.
I
So
feel like
that's a
with-
good selling point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one. For me, it was like with the 360. Like when you got an HD TV, you were like, "Oh, holy shit!" Right? Like this thing's in HD. Like that was crazy, and that was a big generational thing. Unfortunately, it probably came like 2-3 years too early, where a lot of people didn't have HD TVs, so they didn't give a shit. But like now, I feel like there's nothing they can tell me about the new Xbox. I think like there's nothing I can think of that they're gonna say that I'm gonna go, how did I ever live without that? You know?
What if they
And
said
I think
it was
that's
free?
it.
It's a freemium model for the Xbox.
There's an interesting.
Mumble.
If it's true, like it's a really interesting commentary on where I think Microsoft feels like the industry is going. Like I think if you look at video games and kind of geekdom in video games, everybody's been chasing virtual reality for years, right? For like 20 years. So, you know, there's this Oculus Rift which is coming out, which is, you know, a more immersive experience. It puts you in the middle of the gameplay. And I think that idea people have been chasing for a long time. What's a way that we can make the gameplay more immersive and make you feel like you're more into the game? So what I think's interesting is virtual reality is for one person, right? Like everything that you've seen, everything that you've experienced, it's a one-person experience. That means that it's not a social experience. What Microsoft is doing is going the opposite route. They're seeing the trend that social gaming through Kinect is selling well. Obviously, the Wii did really, really well. Not the Wii U yet. But they're seeing that social gaming is a big thing. And so they're actually saying, okay, we know that we want to strive to make things more immersive, but how can we do that in a way that doesn't isolate the player? It can work. We want one system that'll make the game more immersive for an entire family. So I think that's an interesting take because they're definitely betting like an actual, if it's true, an actual hardware add-on device thing. They're betting on people are going to continue to be social gaming rather than saying how can we make an experience premium for one player. I think it's just an interesting kind of
Because that's what it
commentary.
is. I mean, it is technically going to be like a hardware add-on to said TV. Isn't that what they're talking about?
I think it would work with the Kinect. Is how I kind of understood
So
it.
you would need a new Kinect.
Well,
The
the
Kinect's
but the
coming
theory
with
would
the new
be,
one.
yeah,
Supposedly
your new
the
Xbox has a Kinect.
Supposedly a Kinect 2 comes with the Xbox, and there's rumors that it'll have projectors on it.
Yeah.
You brought up a good point though about talking about like what it would take. You know, what wows you anymore? What would it take you? Because you're saying in general, you're like, well, you're still going to buy. We talk about Jay's going to buy the PS4 regardless. We're going to buy the Xbox. But like last time around, I still bought all the systems. I bought them all.
Holodeck.
This time around, though, it was very, very easy for me up front to just say I'm not going to buy a PS4. I'm not. There was nothing that was causing me to go that route or want to go that route. Not even the titles that they showed.
Well,
if
that's
I
the
have to
tough
play it,
thing,
I'll go to Jay's house and be like, hey, dude, let me see what that's about.
And you'll be like, oh my God, I'm going to buy one now.
Oh my God, this is the best
No, but
system
I feel
ever.
like this is the first. This might end up being the first generation that there's like hardly any.
I guess machine-wise, there's no real difference between these two.
But there
from what-
really hasn't been that
seem
big of a
like it, yeah.
difference for the last couple of years. I think like the Xbox to PS2 to
Well,
GameCube was
it's the
maybe the
community.
biggest difference. And yeah, in the games, like everything's multi-platform now. So it's like to me, Xbox, even without them announcing the console, Xbox makes the most sense because PlayStation has Uncharted. Xbox has everything else. So like, why wouldn't you? I can play all the other games that I can play on my PlayStation. Plus, I get Halo.
What about
and
The
Gears
Last
of
of
War.
Us?
Yeah,
Killzone.
Last
I
of
mean,
Us.
it's a Halo killer.
but
Last
that's
of
the
Us
thing.
is
God of War. God of War is the only
I
reason.
guess
God of
War.
War.
Yeah, so
Look
I
how
mean, there's
many
like a
titles I
couple
just named.
franchises.
5.
You named 5.
You named 3.
You didn't name 5.
It sounded like 5.
With me, it's still the media stuff. If they can keep pushing the idea of it being the main player in the living room that handles sort of everything, and it'll install Plex, I'm in.
And that's what I've heard.
Ours
is
already
that-
does handle everything.
Yeah.
Well, yours, yeah.
Your Xbox?
Well, here's a question: will you? Well, maybe it's not a good question, but will you forego a console for like the Steam box or something, or will you just buy them both?
I'm not. The Steam box is the one that I'm not sold on until I see it. Like until I go to your house and see it, I will not be interested in it. Only because I'm kind of one of those people that likes to know information, and so Microsoft for me, the Xbox is a platform. I've used it. It's been around for a while. It's going to be in its 3rd generation, so it's a known entity. Steambox is not.
The advantage, I was thinking about this the other night after I just had Steam up on my computer while I was playing Xbox, like in a break, and I was looking at games. They're going to kill it, though, with their way they market and sell games. Because the consoles have made it very clear your used shit is not going to work anymore in our systems. So we all know here how much fucking Xbox and PS4 games cost, which aren't cheap. And I'm not saying PC games aren't, but Steam has done the best job out of everyone making them available not long after or at special times with deals. So I'm wondering, actually, that's the next thing. How do you think Sony, if it does well, how do you think Sony and Microsoft are ever going to be able to compete with that kind of market? Because even their market where they try to give specials once in a while is not even close to what Steam will give you.
But it depends.
You know what I
think
mean?
for me, the difference with the Steam box is and this is going off of like not a lot, just rumors and hearsay about it. The problem is that I still think console gamers are even more far from what PC gamers are than they were in the days of like Genesis. Like I feel like the Steam box is going to appeal probably more to PC gamers that want to be able to tweak things and do all those things, whereas with a console, what you want is I buy a disc, I put it in my console, and it works. Mine is an auto update or some bullshit like that. Like I feel like that's the difference. Is SimCity is like I install it and I need to constantly be online and I need to tweak my settings, make sure they're medium or high or this. And if Steam can simplify that, then I think they might be able to compete. But if they can't, and I don't know if they're going to be able to without making games that are specific to the Steam box, because PCs change every year, right. and if this is a box that you're not going to upgrade, you're not going to do anything to, like a console, then they need to stick to a standard that 2 years into the Steam box life cycle is like super dated. And so the guys making Crysis 4 aren't going to want to make it for Steam box.
Well, what about, the Steam box probably will likely follow the same model as the iPhone. If it's going to be $99, a new one every year, it's not such a big deal anymore.
Not such a big deal to upgrade, but I still think even with the iPhone, like there's not a lot of like you put something out on the iPhone and it's like how many devices back.
Difference is the way Steam's product works in general and their business model. Those games, every time I upgrade every year, guess what? All my games come with me every year. Mm-hmm. How many systems right now? You can't. Unless you kept the systems.
iOS.
But I think
the iOS. That's it.
Isn't super fragmented, and
right.
the games that they're building, like there's not really, even now, there's not so many games that can't play on the iPad too. Like the majority of games can work, whereas with Steam, you're going to get varied super quick, where like, you can have a little tiny indie game like Dynamite Jack that can run on fucking everything, and then you're going to have Crysis 3, which can run on nothing but high end, and you're going to have to at some point discriminate, like, this will not run on Steambox, and I just don't. I feel like that's where it's going to get kind of weirder, where at least a console is just a known thing.
Right.
I buy an Xbox 360, any game in a store that has Xbox 360, and any game that I can purchase on my Xbox 360 will run, is made for this thing and will run perfectly on it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Did you guys ever have any games on the original Xbox that would like crash? Like the original Xbox was a PC. Like full on, like everything is a flavor of the PC, but it was like hard drive, RAM, like the motherboard, the whole 9 yards of PC in a smaller case, right? There's a game,
not much smaller though.
Right.
Yeah, that's gigantic.
There's a game by Bethesda, the guys who make Skyrim, right? Mm-hmm. That was a Pirates of the Caribbean game. It wasn't off of the movie, but it was kind of like in that universe. And that thing, like. It actually crashed, and like you could have corrupted save games, and like it was like a bad computer game. Like it would actually this thing crashed, and if I get to this certain point and I see this thing happen, it would crash. So you'd end up having like 12 different save games, and you'd just try and like not corrupt them and move on a little bit, and then save 12 more, and it was like it's the funniest thing.
I think that was the game more than the hardware, though.
Yeah,
like I think that might have just been a game that was rushed out,
right?
And like you would have had that error theoretically, even if it was a Genesis game.
But it was an awesome game because it's pirates. And speaking of pirates,
What?
That's a good segue. That's a good segue.
Assassin's Creed 4.
Black Flag.
Meh.
Anyone?
I'm excited to finally play a game where I can assassinate Henry Rollins. Black Flag. Anybody?
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah,
great.
Late 80s punk band.
We followed you.
Henry
Pretty
Rollins.
subtle. Yeah, I would have liked it if you didn't give it up.
Well,
So
if
easily.
you would have given me a bigger reaction, I wouldn't have felt the need to
It's
explain.
for the
So,
fans, man. It's
Assassin's
not about us.
Assassin's Creed.
It's always about us.
Played the first one. It is the most repetitive game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Adam played the second one, the
second
third
It's the
one,
most
the fourth
repetitive
one,
game
the
I've
fifth
ever
one.
played. The
second
third
one's
one,
even
most
more
repetitive game I've ever played. The fourth one, the most repetitive game you'll ever play.
They actually get more repetitive the higher the number you go.
I have to say though, it doesn't matter. Like I am so
This is how
I'm
pirate
so-
nuts you are.
I'm
like,
so
you're like,
obsessed with pirates. You could literally just, if you just took an hour and a half of video of Jack Sparrow sitting in an empty white room, I'd go pay money to go see it.
Challenge accepted. Disney, are you listening?
I'm pretty sure Disney would do that for you.
I
Or
think they're
Jason.
actually working on it right now.
It's called Pirate 6.
I actually kind of want to go back to the Xbox thing for a second.
I was
You're
going to
talking
ask you.
about-
I was going to ask you. I wanted your
Yeah,
opinion.
enough
on
of
it.
this
shot.
pirate
Nice
bullshit.
Well, no, because you're talking about all like the. I think we're getting to a point where the hardware is not really going to be the draw anymore.
That's-
It's
that's
can,
my
What
point.
can the thing do? And the one thing that Microsoft has not tackled with the Xbox is being able to buy stuff that's not Microsoft stuff. So I think if they have a store where it's like, hey, you can buy Amazon stuff. Maybe you can even use Microsoft points and actually get like a bigger, broader, like let me do more online social purchasey activity type stuff through the Xbox that will have a bit of a draw.
You kind of can because they have the Amazon instant video that you can do, so you can.
Yeah, but I don't mean that. I mean
like you want to be able to
products.
buy you want Prime, you want to be able to ship your
that kind of stuff.
plates
Yeah,
or
it's
shit.
like, yeah, I'm playing this game and it's kind of cool. I want to go buy that and you go buy a shirt, but whatever. Like just because then they can start tying stuff in, and you can like in-game purchase. Like
God, can you imagine the advertising that's going to now get pumped into
exactly,
the game?
but that is
Fuck that.
It's already happening.
that's where
Screw
money
that.
is, man. That's the moneymaker. And then they can take a little bit off the top of everything you purchase with
Through
all
the
of the
thing.
people that they've partnered with, and then you just have cash flow, constant cash flow.
The thing I like about that is that it is one step in the direction of what I like about these new consoles, and what I do really think the PlayStation 3 even has gotten right is day-and-day purchases on the console of a game comes out at midnight, I can go home and just download it. Like after we did the podcast on Halo 4, I hadn't bought it yet, and I got excited, and I couldn't find a fucking place to buy Halo 4. I wanted to give them $60 for a video game, but our podcast had ended too late. I had to wait until the next day to buy it. And it's so stupid.
Gosh.
Well, it's
We
just
live in
so
an instant
counterintuitive.
time, man.
Inconceivable.
But it's counterintuitive. I want to buy something. You have a place that I can download games, but I can't download
I've never.
that one.
And you're right, and I've never gotten that. At least with Microsoft.
And on the
their store.
PS4, you won't even have to wait to
Yeah.
play it. You could start playing it right away.
And I had PlayStation Plus.
Come on.
Which
All
I
three
think is
titles.
PlayStation Plus did something that I thought was pretty incredible. That was their, like, you subscribe to it thing. And I got bullied into it in the same way that I have Amazon Prime right now. If they gave me a month for free and then I forgot to renew and they bought me another year.
That's how I got Prime.
But the good news of it was they do a thing where they let you download new games for an hour. And that's their demo.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not a
super
random, like it's not like just a piece of the game. But even better than that is when your hour finishes, they go, hey, do you want to buy this game? And if you say yes,
You just continue.
You
you just
Keep
continue
playing.
playing. Because one, you already
This is
downloaded it.
Amazon?
Can you buy the
No,
game from a
PS3.
different time zone
PS
so you
Plus.
can actually get it earlier than it releases?
I know that's
Greenwich-
how
Greenwich.
iOS is. You can download games. They come out at midnight tonight. Most new games come out Thursdays at midnight. And if you can't do it country. They release it country by country, but
Oh, okay.
it's 9 p.m. for California.
That's cool.
But it is really cool, and the 1 hour thing is just so like stupid cool.
That's
Of like,
neat.
get
I'd
me
probably
hooked.
play a hell of a lot more games if I had that option than just being like, oh, I got to buy this or go to Best Buy and rent it or something. Never mind.
And then
I'm
when
not
you
into
buy it,
enough.
it's like just pick up from where you are. Like even Xbox Live Arcade games, like I played Mark of the Ninja, which I loved. I finished the demo, and it's like, do you want to buy it? And they do the same thing. I've already downloaded the entire game. So the second I click buy, I just own it.
You
It's
already
just
have a
downloading
save
like
point?
a 50K thing. No, theirs doesn't. So then I just start
okay.
again. And I just like, give me a fucking break. Like really, you were smart enough to know to put a point where I was enjoying this game to put a thing that says, hey, buy me right now, but you weren't smart enough to just go, hey, by the way, here's all your achievements that you got. Here's boom, boom, boom. Just give it to me.
Right.
Are those games going to come over, Jay? Like, say the games that you've purchased on the PS3 and downloaded, are those going to go to the PS4?
I don't think so. Yeah, I heard not.
This is back to my point. Like, especially somebody, I know you're not as bad as Kearney, but like that's where I'm back to the Steam box. Like, why wouldn't appeal probably to more than all of us the way you purchase games? To think that they're, because that's what I love about Steam. Every time I've got a new PC, new laptop, new anything, all my games are still there, still own them, they all work.
That's why I'm game for Steam Box, because I like everything about Steam, and the reason I don't use it that much is because it's on my computer. And if you could take Steam and say, hey, you know how you like to play games is on a television or on a phone or if you can just give me it on one of those places, I'm 100%.
Isn't there a Steam client on PS3, or isn't there like some sort of?
You can
There's a tie-in.
use your Steam account with certain games.
It was
but
only
you
for
can't.
Portal 2.
Oh, it's only Portal 2.
It was only Portal 2 that they had it for.
Stupid.
But as long as the Steam box is made with like the minimum requirements that the new systems are, essentially, then I think it would be safe.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a PC basically, right? So, I mean, it's probably going to have really nice hardware and not be super ridiculously expensive.
I mean, the stuff we saw, me and Sean saw at CES from XI3, they can make some beefy ass machines and little form factors. I mean, you can get i7 chips in there,
but they're pretty expensive though, right? I mean, as far as
you couldn't make them very expensive if you put like SSD. That's the thing. You could personally get crazier with your Steam. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with Steam Box, but if you took an XI3 box and just wanted to blow a shitload of money, you could make a sicker one than the console. Straight up, you just could on this little thing running a Steam Box. Now, their thing though is Steam Box is going to be a standalone unit. Now, that's what I don't know they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to sell different models that you could get.
And that's like just personally, like I'm a Mac guy. Like that's what I want. I want to just go, I want this. I don't want to do the thing of, oh, this is how much it costs, and then you can upgrade, and then you can play with it, and then it's got Linux, and you can change your OS to something. It's like that does not.
You just want it to
speak
work
me.
for you.
I just want it to work and play games, and I want to have fun doing that. Whereas I know, like you guys, probably want all that tinkering.
I don't know if you're going to give me here's the thing. If you're going to give me a machine like that, maybe I guess will I ever use it like that? Maybe not. But if it has the option, say it grows old, and I bought a new Steam box 2 years, 3 years later. And I think I can go, well, I can give that to my wife to use as a PC in the kitchen. That's kind of sweet. I don't know.
I think I'm getting lazy because my XI3 has been sitting upstairs for, I don't know, since I bought it, and I really haven't tinkered with it because I think I'm kind of over the tinkering stage in my computer career. Like, I kind of expect everything to just kind of
So you're
going
to switch to Mac?
No, not that either. But
which is funny because you love like Linux and diving into crap.
I used to, and now I'm done. I kind of like, yeah, I did that. That's cool. Let me go figure something else out to do. But like, I swear to God, and this is the honest truth, every single Macintosh I've ever touched has crashed. Every single
Maybe
one.
it's the user.
Maybe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Did you touch Jason's that one time at Fry?
It knows what I am.
Don't come over here.
I don't think it's. I think you were using a Macintosh, which is a fake Macintosh.
You can get those in
sold on the Irish black.
It was a Macintyre. That's the problem.
That's what it is. RC,
That's
hey.
with Granny Smith.
It's a Reba Macintyre.
Sony Guts.
Hey, so McFish bites are real.
Real. Good for them. Are they 23
Has
feet
anybody
long?
tried them?
Real fish?
Adam?
Fuck
Adam,
that.
Adam, you're the only one here who would try it.
I
know
don't
what?
like McDonald's.
I don't know if you
had
guys
Taco Bell
know
last
about
night.
deep frying stuff, but when I was in college, I had a deep fryer, and I deep fried everything. And the one thing you didn't want to deep fry was
Shoelaces
fish
with
sticks
fish?
because it made everything else taste like fish. So I wonder how
Weren't they
McDonald's
already
is getting
doing-
around that.
Oh, I guess they wouldn't be.
I bet
Just
I
do
did
a separate fryer.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Why would you?
Those two.
Wow. Why don't you guys just make out?
Stereo surround sound.
Just kiss.
This is the most awkward high fiving. Yes.
Exactly.
It's not that we're so smart,
Brothers
but
giving
that's
the
just
hug.
completely obvious.
So,
all you
Jason, are
idiots.
they
Yeah.
23 feet long?
Yes, they are.
Sweet.
My
McSquid bites.
McFish bite is.
McKraken bites.
McKraken bites. Let me get some McKraken
That is a
bites.
terrible nickname for your penis.
So I want to touch on something. Our old buddy Dan Camp, Mr. Talkative, who was on the show before your guys' time.
D-Camp.
DK.
Love him to death.
DC.
Posted on the forum.
Wait, did he get kicked off the show to make way for
we
us?
we really booted him.
Did we boot him from the forum?
We
too?
turned off his mic
Thanks-
a couple
thanks,
of times.
guys.
Even.
Really?
No, Sean asked if he got kicked off the show for them. Yes, he was here every week till
Way to
you
pay
two
attention,
shut up.
Jason.
I almost got kicked off the show for you guys.
Oh, yeah. Almost.
We didn't want that though.
Yeah.
Can't
Pecco
cut
did.
me out.
Pecco wanted you out.
So Dan posted on the forum, and he was asking our opinions on wearable tech. He has the Pebble, which is fancy, cool watch that was on Kickstarter that you could change the face, and it like talks to your phone. It's all Bluetooth and fancy. And he was wondering about like what we thought of that tech and thought about like Google Glass and like the way I took that is would you wear this shit? Now I'm a fucking nerd.
I'm wearing Google
as
Glass
long as it
right
kind of
Is it
look
free?
cool.
Is it free?
No,
Fuck.
you got to buy it. I like cool techie crap. Would you wear it though?
As someone who wears glasses normally every day, and I used to not have to, and now I do, I would want to be able to put Google Glass technology into my glasses so I didn't have extra shit on me.
Glasses over your glasses.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
wanna-
look at
every
this.
time I
Hey,
go into a stereo
motherfuckers,
film,
look at
I'm
this
like-
tech. Hold on,
Every time I go see a
stereo.
stereo film, I'm like, God damn it, I gotta put glasses on top of these glasses. And then the filters are all fucking wrong. I gotta go tell them their filters are wrong and come back. What a nightmare. But-
Yeah, stereo.
Your filters are wrong.
Fuckers.
Got incorrect filters.
Hey, Jason
Idiot.
Carter, what do you think
yeah.
about wearable stuff?
I don't get the watch thing, though. That's what I don't get. What do you guys feel about the watch, the Pebble?
I've
itself?
seen it. It was cool.
What does it do that my phone doesn't do?
Exactly. That's
It
my
wraps
thing.
around your wrist.
So
I can make my phone do that.
So I think it would make
Hello.
I think it would make a lot of sense.
Slap watch.
Oh.
I think it would make a lot of sense maybe if like you could be like, hey, this is my phone, and I'm gonna go blink, and I'm gonna talk, and then go blink, and I don't have like an extra
not
thing
this.
with me.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
and it's kind
Why
of,
can't you
No,
do it like
I mean
this?
it does
Why
like
can't you do it more
I think
this?
it does like RS. I think
just
you could do like RSS feed, like
text messages,
tweets,
and
text.
tweets
I gotta
and
be
all that
honest.
stuff, but-
That stuff to me, Brad at work has one, and he walked over, and I was like, "Oh, let me see this thing."
I'm pretty
The
sure
stuff-
Brad's making money from that
from that
technology
tech somehow.
Yeah.
Was that, and this is just the kid in me with this tech. I like that you could just keep changing the faces to all sorts of cool shit. I'm like, that's kind of neat.
Can I put
I,
my
I
face?
love watches.
Can my face be the
You
face?
can do that on an iPod.
You
Nano,
probably
though, can't
can.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's same
the
kind of.
mustache.
Same
Tell you
kind
what.
of it's almost the same size actually as the little nano watches that you can like strap into.
you
It looked about
jailbreak
the
it?
same size.
I'll tell you what. What's the name of that thing? The wrist thing that it will track all of your movements based on the muscular.
yeah.
So if they rolled those things together and you could actually do shit with your watch with your fingers, that would be cool. I'd be into that.
Well, you know the
Just
rumor,
fingering stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, look at me do tech stuff. Oh
look at me-
yeah.
You know the rumor is that Apple
Just trying to
this
help.
year is going to release an iWatch that runs a full version of iOS.
Can it play porn?
But what are you gonna do on a screen
Yeah.
that small?
Well, I'd say I buy everything. That's the one thing I'm nervous
get
about.
some.
Because
Why is that?
I don't like wearing
You don't wear a watch
things.
now.
Yeah, I don't like wearing things on my wrist.
I don't either.
And I don't like wearing things on my eyes.
You have
But
you,
Mac
either.
has told him to
No.
wear a watch.
you have to wear the watch on your non-dominant hand.
No, it's a bigger challenge if it's on your dom. Wait,
What?
no, the hand you use.
Jason
You're like,
Carter is
oh,
correct.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good.
No,
Jason
what you
Carter
do
is
then
correct.
Right.
No, then on your wrist,
What if
there's
it
an
had
image of like a
Steadicam?
woman's hand or something.
Left hand.
What if
I
it
don't know. I
strobed?
don't know what you're talking
Wait, what if
about.
it strobed the picture,
I'm
the
talking about-
speed that you were going, so you always saw the image in one
And
spot?
you put
Like
that
a
together
zoetrope.
with the Nike Plus thing, so you're like, oh yeah, life points, life points, life points.
But think if
Whatever
I-
Nike
Life
gives
points.
you.
I just said
right?
you ran a 26
I
mile
was actually
marathon.
talking about
You're a
that.
fucking athlete.
You'd want to if you drove with if you steered a car with your dominant hand. You'd
Is
want
that
to
what
Stop,
you want
Jason.
masturbating?
Stop,
watch,
Jason.
Watch on
Do you call
No,
jerking off
in the
steering?
car. No,
but
I was not referring to
'Cause I
that.
do.
to go
Not dominant.
Because that's what I
driving.
call it.
That's what I call it,
to go
steering.
back to the technology where it's actually reading your muscles and stuff like that.
That's
if you
fucking
had a
cool.
watch that had information on it, how cool would you feel if you were like, "Oh, dude, you want this text? Bam!" And it fucking like that.
But then you
made the text
accidentally
go-
miss the
That'd
cue,
be
and that one was
awesome.
really shoot the bullets out of it, and you're like,
I would be.
Spider-Man.
I'm pretty sure I would geek out about that for a much longer
Yeah, oh,
time
yeah.
than my phone talking.
So
to my
wait,
watch.
so if you were in like a crowded, like a real crowded
Absolutely,
area,
you'd see
and
me
you
out there
miss, you miss, you just feel like, hey, you're good looking, and you like hit the fat guy instead.
maybe,
So you just accidentally sexted
or you
the
just
fat
blast everybody like,
Yeah.
"Yo, all of yous."
Man. You're like, hey, watch me send this dirty text.
Adam, you know that.
Oh no, I misfired. Prematurely fired too early. I wasn't done with that text.
Prematurely fired too early.
You could
That's a
actually,
super early
you could
shot.
actually type.
It's like while I'm thinking about it, like, oh fuck. text
Think about it,
gone.
because you could actually type a text with your hand without touching anything. How
am I gonna know where anything is?
Yeah. You'd have to train yourself.
You'd have to close your
obviously,
eyes
but
and imagine.
I don't
a
know
keyboard.
how many people in our listening audience or even in the room know what stenography is, but my mother is a court reporter and she uses.
Oh, she does that?
Yeah, she does
That
that.
shit
she
is
uses stenography
insane,
stuff, and
dude.
it's pretty much like learning another language. It's just a much more truncated language. So the way that the letters line up together mean things, kind of like binary.
My mom
things.
did it too. She went to school for that.
That's the most
you
impressive
could-
thing I've ever seen.
You
by
could
the way.
do
You see somebody
something
do
like that in that language and type crazy shit really fast with just one hand, and I think that would be really, really useful.
And then the person receiving it could have Google goggles on that translates it, and it
Google
just shows
Glasses, dingus.
whatever.
Boom.
Yeah, dingus.
There is Google goggles.
I don't
on
know.
it.
So the Pebble as itself, I don't really get, but the place it could go to, I think, could be really cool.
Yeah.
It needs to
wanna wear
add. It needs to add more of like the tech that's coming out with the Jawbone and the Fitbit and the Nike Fuel. Those are things now that I don't get why they don't add to the watch. Why are you pointing at your junk, dude? Is that the Nike Fuel?
That's what he calls it.
Is that the fuel?
He calls his junk the Fitbit.
Pointing it at his Fitbit.
I actually
We
was
got the
pointing.
No, I know you have a
The McFish
Fitbit,
nugget?
but to me, in the peripheral, in my Illuma view, all I saw was you going, "Yeah, junk, yo." I don't know.
So there's. I think the idea of wearable technology is interesting. There's certain things that you can't get from holding a device, and for me, the only real application I see for technology that's wearable is if you want information about your body that you can only get. So, like, I can't get my heartbeat through my phone, right?
Yet.
Or can you through the camera? I don't know. Anyways, but like, I can't get the number of steps I'm taking. Like, there's no pedometer app, I don't think. Correct me if I'm
there
wrong.
is. There is.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Accelerometer,
How accurate is it?
like to the
2 steps.
To the steps.
Apparently,
To the
all right.
dubstep.
Well, I could be
So,
wrong, but
apparently the
Take
D-
it from
the
Billy D.
DS
Williams.
The 3DS tracks your footsteps too, if you wanted to. So yeah, these devices can do that.
I guess my point is, all technology
have
can
one
already
anymore.
do this. No.
That clearly, I know nothing about
The
technology.
thing is that the
You guys heard about Bluetooth?
I want a
iWatch
Hold on.
will have all that.
I want a
stuff
hat that
because
just
they'll have
projects
iOS.
my thoughts
Well,
on.
So
the
everyone
top
will
of
just make an app. So basically, everything you want to be on it. What's cool about the iWatch is they'll fucking put it on it.
Well, I guess my point is, there's no. I don't see there's any benefit. I'm not going to play "Where's My Water" on my wristwatch.
Or will you?
Why
But
the
if there's
fuck not?
Yeah,
if
come on.
there's
Don't be a
That's
and
his
you won't even need to
lifestyle.
touch the screen.
The two
I'm
guys.
not gonna be able to fucking pay rent, Carter.
Buy
Jesus.
my shit.
It's
Or
90
buy all my 9
It's
million
gonna
new
be
consoles.
$1.99.
I already
All
bought
right?
it. I already bought it, and so I can get it on that device too.
No, it's not. It's gonna be a different version.
So
It's a premium version on the iWatch.
And it'll be like looking into one of those things that.
Nice addition, Jay. Way to add to the
Thanks for
Jay
coming tonight.
Pecco.
Thanks for coming tonight.
so to
Go hang out with your one black friend.
I got two.
Too soon.
I got two.
Not anymore. Not after today.
Chester and
Jason
Cheetah.
Carter.
No, so I think just all I was going to say is I think wearable technology is a really cool thing. I think any information that we can gather about our world, about us, about our surroundings, I'm all in favor of technology providing that for us. So the current trend, current being the Nike Fuel, like the wearable technology that's biometric centered, makes a ton of sense to me because I have a Fitbit that I wear. It tells me how many steps I walk in a day. I just think it's interesting information.
See, I like the Fuel actually because it also acts as a watch, I believe. It tells the time. That was the guy at work has one, and actually compared to the other ones, I thought that was the cool part. Because I
also have a watch on my Fitbit.
Brad has like the Jawbone one. I forgot what that one's called, and it actually gives out really good information on your body and all this crap. But I'm looking at it, and it's like a bracelet, and I'm watching for the same reason as Sean. Like I like watches, but I'm not going to wear a bracelet. I don't know. So I'm watching that. So
I don't understand.
exactly. Well, but if that told the time.
It doesn't. It says I heart pirates.
Yeah, there. I'd be more into it. So like even with the Apple thing, as long as it's not huge, and you could do cool things like change the face out to like different stuff like internally, and it tells the time. That might be cool to me if it looks cool, kind of thing.
I'm just tired of watches just telling the time, though. Like, I think we should just skip
Have a calculator?
past that. Like, it should just be no more time on watches.
And then all the Apple Watch is going to be is just a button that you press,
It's
and
the Nano.
Siri tells you the time. That's
Go
it.
on.
In a robot voice.
Go on.
Sexy.
Now the Siri option, you could start getting communicator style.
into your Bluetooth
Communicate.
earpiece.
It's very James
Siri,
Bond.
Siri, what time is it?
The time is.
Why is she an old man?
That's Siri from maybe 20 years ago.
As a man.
So let's go the other way. Let's go. Let's.
Like one of
The
those guys
time
that's been
is
smoking for a while, talking through
3:45.
his
That's
throat.
awesome.
Thank you so much for participating.
That's
pretty good.
Is that good, right?
Awesome.
Let's
you know
go.
what?
Let's
you
go.
know what's unfortunate though, Carter, is robots just put you out of a job. You're great at voiceover.
Carl Weathers was in Rocky IV.
The movie times are.
That was not Samuel L. Jackson.
Black robot jokes.
Welcome
you,
to the
man.
Cafe.
That's awesome.
So Fennel touched on the Google glasses. That's as cool as that is. Sean hit the nail on the head for me. He wears glasses. He wears them every day. I wear sunglasses every day, but not all the time.
Are they Bing?
Would you wear something all the
glasses?
damn time? Would you wear glasses that aren't for seeing all the time? Because that's where that tech currently is. It's not in contact lenses. It's in wearable. These actually look pretty big too.
Yes.
Wearable glasses.
Every day, I wear glasses all day long, and I don't need them to see.
You need them for information.
You're stereotyping. Oh, you riddle junkie.
You don't
But-
wear them
right.
all day.
I
don't wear them all day.
On his head.
90% of the day.
Do you really? 90%?
Yeah, they're always in my head if I'm in the building.
How? Do you know how many hours in a day?
Okay, so
Where have
8
we
out of
gone?
24.
I don't know what. I don't
One
even know
third.
what room we're in anymore.
1/3 of my day.
J. Carl Weathers
I like
Pecco.
accurate math. That's what I like.
What do you think of Google Glasses?
I think it's a cool idea. I don't know exactly where they're going with it. I definitely wouldn't wear them all day, every day. I probably wouldn't even
What about
wanna
all day,
bring 'em
8
out.
hours?
All day, 8 hours a day. I would definitely wear them. No,
I don't like that the jokes have shifted to me. Can we go?
Thank
You
for
can see
saying
his
that.
face.
Can we go
the
back?
camera, are you picking up?
Can we go back to Jay, please?
I think the other thing too is I feel like they're gonna with my sunglasses. I will hook them onto my shirt, and if I drop them, oh well. But these are gonna be super fragile glasses.
Well,
better not. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, how expensive are they going to be compared to? I have a lot of friends who have Ray-Ban sunglasses.
$1,500.
$150. I don't think they're going to be.
Yes, they are.
$1,500.
They said Google glasses are going to be $1,500.
$1,500.
Well, then nobody's going to buy. Then
That's not a
I think
product.
now you've
No one's
lost
gonna buy
me on
that.
me
Who's
buying
gonna buy
it
that?
in general?
Hey,
Sean,
I'm gonna
let's
pay
be honest, have
$1,500
they?
to look like a moron on the subway.
Now remind me again with the fit. Now
Plus, someone's gonna run by and just snag them off your face. Gone. Google Glasses gone.
No,
Thanks for the
they'll
glasses.
be
Yoink.
bolted into your head.
Yoink! It'll be bolted to your.
1,500.
15, that's what it is. $1,500.
So right now, I think
That's
the
not-
thing
is that true?
Right now, they're just a thing that's cool that it exists.
They're like a phone
You
on
know?
your face.
They're
So
not-
I don't. Why would I?
No, but you have to
I'll
have
give
a
you
phone
five,
still,
hey,
right?
I'll give you 500 maybe.
Hey, by the way, that
You still
T-shirt's
gotta
going
have
to be
a-
available
you
on
still gotta have a phone.
Nerdtastic store.
I'd
It's like a
talk to
phone on
your
your
phone.
face.
They don't-
I'd pay.
They're not a
15
phone.
I'd paid $1,500 for the Judge Dredd version of it.
No, actually, you know what?
Like
I'm
the
thinking about
helmet
those
version.
those Oakleys. Remember the Oakleys I talked about? This,
Yeah.
that
The goggles?
basically have the same tech in the lower right-hand region of the goggles that tell you your GPS. You could
I
talk
don't
to a
think
friend.
those
You
were
could see. Your,
$1,500.
no, they're like $350.
Yeah, they still
And that
also
to me
talk to
seem-
your phone.
But they're fucking cool.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And to me, it's almost the same tech. You can't do. I think they showed in Google like you could talk to somebody, like if you could like G chat
Yeah.
to somebody that worked.
And then you can show them like what you're looking at.
yeah.
Google, take a picture.
See,
Yeah,
I want it to
exactly.
be like Terminator, where it likes tracking things, and it's like, this is Sean
shoots
Kearney. You don't want to
people.
fucking talk to him.
That's what I would
Just
love.
keep
Like it
walking.
tells you
because
who's
you know
who.
I was a badass.
That's some shit.
And
Can
then
it do,
forces you to wrench your head around.
Finds all the
What about
threats.
what about
Yeah.
face
them
back,
around
where
you.
it can identify somebody from the back of their head?
Face back.
The
Face back,
face
face
back
back.
app.
You know what? You know what it should
Love that
really be
movie.
able to do is provide a
back.
360-degree view around you, so you can see everything.
It'll
without
do that?
turning your
You
head.
have eyes on the
It
back of your head.
should.
The thing I'm
I want
interested
Boba
in-
Fett.
I like
helmet,
where your
man.
head's at.
I want Boba Fett helmet. That's what I want.
I think whatever the Google glasses end up being, and whatever these watches end up being, I think
Sean
that
will buy them.
Sean will buy them for sure. I think they're interesting right now, but like Valve's working on wearable computing as well, and I'm wondering what the gaming sort of implications is.
Probably
all
going to
about
be some
video
kind of
games with you.
vest, I would imagine. Some kind of maybe slow, like a deep V.
Like you want
some kind of
to feel a bullet when you get shot. You literally
wanna feel
feel
it.
the bullet.
just
Yeah.
pinches the nips a little bit.
Have you guys ever?
They
have you
already
guys ever
had
seen
that.
the pain station? The pain station was
Oh,
this
wow.
thing.
Is that
I saw it
arcade,
on
wasn't it?
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
results for face back?
And what the pain station was is it was just a Pong machine these like college kids had modded like in Sweden or something. And it had like a little plastic like whip And when a point was scored on you, it would fucking whip right across your fucking fingers. Go like whip, and it would hurt you. And it was the pain station, and that's what it was. And you'd play, and they would set it up at like art galleries and stuff like that.
Did people
Google it.
start getting like better? They're like, "Fuck, I can't lose."
No, I think
It's my
people
life.
just stopped playing because that's what I would have done. Is I would, I'm
No,
not playing
I
this.
would have
I'm
kept
going
playing.
to play Street Fighter.
I would have
here.
absolutely kept Street Fighter. Well, like every once in a time you lost, just a little flick to your nuts.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to play.
What's with the whispering in it?
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
let me ask you this: Would you go as far as to wear a vest that literally like gave some kind of sensation of being shot?
I thought they already made that.
not at
like
all.
The ultimate
PS2.
VR room. Did you
I
see
feel
that?
like they did.
No,
that.
that's
yeah,
similar.
military
He
has
got
it.
shot with like paintball style balls, which was
That was
kind of
cool.
funny because it was cool, especially when you talk about like it whizzing by him. It felt and sounded like a real bullet coming by. But a vest that you could be in your living room, like, yeah, try this on. This is awesome.
I saw at SIGGRAPH 2 years ago, I think it was.
Or like doing something.
I think it was 2 years ago. There was a chair that had force feedback in the chair, and it was I sat down and I played a racing game, and they had this game where you would go over like a speed bump. And as you went over the speed bump, it was just these like two rods just jamming your butt cheeks.
I was just thinking of a racing game that Josh put me in way back in the day at DreamWorks that I couldn't get out of, and as I couldn't get out of, he sat rolling on the ground laughing as the racing simulator went haywire with me in it.
Yeah, this is like our
D-box?
Yeah, I don't know if they've heard it. Like it's the first, was our first week there, or at least my first week. He'd been there like 3 weeks before me, and we go into the game room, and they have like two, games or racing stations, but they're just, the Logitech controllers, the force feedback thing, but it's the whole chair, the force
Full
feedback
simulator
chair.
off the ground.
Yeah.
Like so, it leans and
No,
tilts
it has pistons on four sides. It's a full deal.
And it had the whole thing. It's got two, like 50-inch like TVs and two PCs right there. And we're like, fuck it, let's try this shit. So I can't get mine to work. I hadn't seen them on since I'd been there. Jack sits in one. We kind of get his to semi-work. And then,
it's hooked up to a computer, mind you. This isn't like you hit start and go like it's an arcade game. It's hooked up to like some computer.
And there's
setup.
two guys in there like playing pool. One other guy like on the couch like just relaxing, playing a nice like calm game. All of a sudden, Jack's just like, and like starts to like calibrate. Starts going like in a very violent, loud thing,
louder than you can imagine. This thing is,
but his face is like extremely like
terrified.
not terrified, but like embarrassed as fuck because he's sitting there. He doesn't know anybody. He's just like, and he's like, Josh, turn it off, man, turn it off. And he's just looking at me and just and I don't want to touch
Josh
it.
is like clicking on stream, but then he just stops.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm taking this all, and this thing is going insane. It's like going on all four corners, and it's metal on metal. So it's just ching ching. The guys have stopped playing pool at this
Yeah,
point.
they're just like
They're
looking
they're
like,
just
you
staring at me.
fucking idiot. What are you doing?
Did somebody at DreamWorks like build it, or is this a commercial product?
No. It was a commercial. Like they bought
Yeah,
this.
it was a whole
And I'm sure
commercial.
Jay, did it ever work quite when you were there?
Yeah, I saw a
I'm
couple
sure
people,
it did.
Yeah, a couple people used it.
It was hooked up to like one of those badass. At one time they had like badass voodoo PCs, like, and they had these badass machines hooked. It's obviously when they had stupid money to just spend on stuff, and me and Josh were like, oh, we got to get in on this thing. This looks awesome.
Hey, look at that.
Because like that's like a huge system.
What could go wrong?
Fucking Christ, dude. And it just, I think I bailed, didn't I?
Yeah,
Did
he
it keep
just
going?
got-
I literally finally gave up. I was like,
He just like got up.
Tuck and roll, tuck and roll.
which is like Sean Tucky. Was it that one?
Yeah.
We'll try to post a picture of this.
Oh my
this
God,
machine.
that thing looks
But it
janky.
looked like it was more. There was like more metal to it.
Yeah.
But like Sean was
I've done that at
what-
E3. I did one of those.
What story were you telling me where you bailed off your bike, dude? You were,
Oh my God, yeah.
Same thing. You like bailed off and just went fuck it and jumped off.
Pretty
it.
much. I up until this point, I was in Iowa with my friend's family. Up until this point, I had only ever ridden bikes that you'd push the pedals back and that would do the brake. They didn't have any hand brakes, so they put me on a bike that had hand brakes and it would just scream backwards. So we're going down a hill and there's a gulch at the end of the hill. I'm like, I got this. I totally got this. This is so good. And I'm riding down the hill and I get close enough to the gulch and they're like, stop, slow down. So I'm like, I'm like, oh shit! And I couldn't process in my head that I need to brake with my hands, so I just went. And jumped off the thing. The bike goes down the gulch. I'm like sliding sideways, like I'm gonna go down. And I got like slid all the way to the edge on my hip, like. And then we were like, all right, I guess we got to go down and pick up this bike. But yeah, it just very similar to
That was me
experience.
skiing because I didn't know how to stop. And so it was just like I would try and
You just
see-
fall over, don't you?
Yeah, well, no.
Pizza.
There is a way to stop. I guess it is pizza, but that
Pizza.
shit didn't work. So what I would do is just find a way that like, the most I could go uphill to slow me down, and then I'd just tumble.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, yeah, it's a survival instinct.
Tumble ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
That's a poor survival instinct.
Tumble ready.
FYI, just like hit
Tuck
the
and
ground.
roll.
Tuck and
Tuck and
roll.
roll
It's
is
a great
is
survival.
So you're on the ground and someone's just gonna come and beat the shit out of
I
you.
don't know if
Tuck
tuck
and
and
roll when you
Parkour
have
people.
sharp sticks on your feet.
Parkour.
Okay,
Is
what would you
the-
say? Go over the mountain? Like, give me the option that's better than that.
Lay on your side.
Okay, tried to lay on my side, and I, had so much momentum, I tumbled. Yeah.
Hey, he laid on his side and then tucked and rolled.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I laid on my side,
Still.
and you came up next to me and tumbled and rolled me.
But see that same kind of shit though, dude. And I don't know if I ever talked about it on the show, but I know Josh knows this for sure. My brakes went out on my car while I was driving.
Shit.
Did I tell Jay? Have I ever told you this story?
No.
I had inadvertently.
What,
Okay,
what kind of
honestly,
car?
It was my old Camry. It was my '93 Camry. I'm gonna call it inadvertently, aka I was a dumbass, and my parking brake was up. Now I was in Rolling Heights, which is probably an hour outside LA where I lived. I had pulled the parking brake where I had parked at my buddy's house. When I left, unlike new cars that pretty much will stop you and you get a good idea that the parking brake, the old 93 Camry with 167,000 miles, nope, she keeps on trucking. I drive and I get into the 101. So I pass downtown and I'm like, and I start to try to slow down a little bit. And I push down. I'm like, you know, and you make the face like, well, okay, there's just whatever. You know, there's nothing wrong.
I touched it
and it
wrong.
starts, and I look over, and I notice my parking brake's up. But yet I'm still going full speed. And it's late at night, so I'm going like 85, 90. So I put the parking brake down because it literally is starting to register what could happen. It's funny at the time, all I could think about is like in Ohio or mountain areas like Smoky Mountains or whatever else, you see all these like emergency truck that goes off the
it's
side,
all
and it's just
gravel.
gravel, and it goes up a hill to slow them down. And I'm
101
like,
is
ain't gonna happen on
about
that.
a couple of
Ain't,
those.
ain't gonna happen one on the 101, and two. Okay, you've seen because obviously no one has trained you for this crap unless you're like Sinister, who's like professional stunt driver. So I'm like, okay, I've seen movies. You tap your brakes, right? And at this point, I have let off the gas completely.
Mm-hmm. So you're slowing down.
Now I'm on the 101. I'm passing downtown. The car's not really slowing though. It's not going faster, but I'm not slowing, and I'm probably about 65. I'm in the slow lane, and I'm starting to sweat a bit. I'm panicking, and I'm trying to think of like how to like stop, and I'm slowly tapping the brake, dude. I'm like, come on, this is gonna re-engage, right? So then I start thinking, I'm like, okay, there was all these scenarios that kept coming through my head. I'm like, once I get into the 101 around Hollywood, traffic's going to hit, and I'm eventually going to have to go into the guardrails.
I'm eventually gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm not even there yet. Like literally, I'm still trying to think logically. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go into the emergency lane and hope that slows me down, or I'm gonna have to like scrape on a guardrail to slow down.
Yeah.
So I'm still tapping, and I see the Sunset exit. It's when I lived in Hollywood, so I'm like, well, the Sunset exit has an incline to come around. I don't know if you guys have ever taken that off the 101. It goes up and it turns on to Sunset.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's got an incline, and I had slowed down about 45. At this point, the car, I'm like, is that still going to be enough?
But it curves around into an intersection.
No, and it does. And my thought at this point was, when I had made the decision, if it wasn't going to
Yeah.
slow me down enough, is at the top, I remember there being like a small park of trees or something. I was like, I'm just going to go into the tree. Hopefully I'm like going 15 or something at this point, and it's not going to be too bad. And I'm thinking I'm going into a tree to stop. You're talking about jumping out. It's like, well, I can't jump out of the car. So, and I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to hit another fucking car. So I shit you not, I am literally coming up the turn, and I'm at probably about 15 going to 12. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit the tree. So I get ready to hit the tree. The fucking brakes engaged instantly, and that hurt more than anything else. Because I was like, one last like hurrah, like fucking work, and I like slam down. It fucking head like slams up against the fucking dashboard. I'm like, and I like come to, dude. My heart. Until you're in that scenario, dude. Like you hear stories. Until you're in that scenario, you never have any idea, dude. Like what that's gonna be like to have like no brakes ever. But it made me think about that. In retrospect, maybe I should have just jumped out. Maybe I should have. And I talked about that. Do I slow down and jump out of the car?
If you would have, then you would have fucked up your car.
Well, it would have been worse. The way I thought about it, if I can get down to 10 miles per hour, I can probably wreck it in a way that nobody's gonna get hurt, but
Yeah.
the dumbass who hits whatever I hit. Like I was ready to go to a rail and just grind it till it stopped.
I'm pretty sure there's a MythBusters episode where they try to figure out if there's a way to slow down a car by changing the gears in it, like going from drive to reverse. Which I think all of them.
I threw it
failed.
in neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of them failed.
What about it's an automatic?
It was an
What about
automatic,
downshifting to third or low or
That
two?
would slow you
or-
down to a point.
It'd slow you down a little bit. I think
Honestly, I hadn't even really. I didn't think of that.
I think at a certain point you have to start driving wider like this to
That was the other thing. I was
dissipate
so
all of those-
scared. Well, one, you
all of that
couldn't.
energy.
One, there was traffic, and I was
Yeah.
so fucking scared.
You just start
if
honking.
somebody breaks.
Get
No,
the fuck out of the way.
I had a caution. I had the caution. I had my caution lights on.
That's
You
to
do
get
that in
away
Morse
with
And I
code
anything
with your
was
horn.
so scared that somebody just inadvertently was going to stop. Like I tried
Right.
so hard not to get behind anybody because I'm like, if they break at all,
Fuck.
I'm gonna have to fucking go into a wall or I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
do something. So I was in the slow lane, like being very cautious of what lane I was in for distance.
But that
Like,
that weaving will dissipate a lot of that forward energy into left and right energy, and
Does
it
it not
should help
speed you
slow,
up, though?
No, it should help slow you
like
down.
those little
actually.
carts kids sit on
Well,
and they get
those are
going.
yeah, because those things are like.
Is that a bad
Those
analogy?
things
I don't
are
know.
like
Just do that
3
to one of the
pounds. You have a
tires.
car that's like
Literally,
you
all
know,
I had was
thousands
TV
of
knowledge
pounds.
to go on. I was thinking Dukes of Hazzard, Smokey and the Bandit, and
Where's
NASCAR.
a jump? So all you were thinking was like, what? Where's a jump or a circle that I can
and an
only
air
make left
horn.
turns in?
Where's my air horn?
Surface area.
Now, have you guys, any of you guys ever run into that?
I've never run into
Adam,
that.
have you?
That's,
That was
I think
probably
that's
my
the first thing I
scariest.
would try is
That's
let me
crazy.
just weave and try to get more surface area. And
I would have
friction
skidded against
in
the
here.
wall probably sooner than you did. I would have never exited. I wouldn't have thought. I don't think that in that moment I would have thought about that sunset exit. And I think the thing that would have freaked me out the most is getting off because I was like, well, now I'm going to be encountering intersections, things like that. So I would have probably sooner just slowly gone into a wall.
And
just
that was
skidded.
an idea.
I would have
that was
deployed
the
my
idea.
trunk monkey.
In high school, I had a Ford Ranger.
You would have whipped out your dick.
My trunk monkey. Not my monkey. My trunk monkey.
So I was about ready to go down. I whipped my dick out.
it's
The
like
guy next to me
the
went
airplane
down,
story.
and then the brakes
Just go to
engaged.
town.
Started going in.
Start going to town. You want to die happy?
That's the
He Dutch
best
ruddered
part
it.
of mall
He
ride.
Dutch
Did he
ruddered it.
finish?
Did he
Dutch
come?
rudder.
Come on, man.
Jesus, man. This is some things you don't talk about.
So I had a Ford Ranger in high school, 83, and the thing about cars that older is that you know you can mess with it, like you can do stuff to it and figure it out. And I don't know, those were the days like before computers were really involved in cars. So, anyways, you know
could
the
tinker.
you know the you could tinker. So you know the two nozzles that spray washer fluid onto your windshield. Well, those were just connected with simple little hoses. So I just unhooked them. And then I'd put them out the front grill, and I'd pull up to my friends, and I'd be like, "Squirt!"
Of course,
I
you
had
did.
other.
I would say,
It's
I would
like,
say,
of course, it's like your
I had
brakes
other
not being
friends.
out.
Though, I had other friends though that would
no,
just
it's not a
turn 'em.
segue at all.
I had other friends that turn them, and so when they do it, it would shoot off to the cars left and right of them.
I would say that was the world's most expensive squirt gun, but I bought it for $1, so it was not.
I'd run it inside and
You
spread
bought
the
that
passenger.
car?
Yeah.
Could you put it to a
Yeah.
compressor and it
my grandma.
literally shoot out some extensive amounts of water, like a fucking air hose? Like you put like a compressor on the front, and you're like, yeah, check this out, and it like pushes a car.
Like predator blood color.
No, actually, it was
Yes.
like a super weak stream, so it kind of roll out of it would have like maybe a foot
They literally have
distance.
to, literally
I've
have to be
seen-
sitting on your fucking bumper for it to hit.
Yeah, they have to be sitting on your hood.
But I'd get
like-
pretty close. Like I'd be like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And I'd pull up close, and your friend would stand there and like look down and see how close you could get to him, and I'd get really, really close, and then I just squirt him.
I've seen car shows. Adam maybe seen this where they've done the
Good
for NOS for a nitro system where they do the release valves. They've hooked those up to the two windshield wipers, so when they hit it, it's basically just this cloud of ass smoke that comes up over your windshield.
Hey,
You're like, you're a badass.
Do you guys get irrationally mad when someone in front of you washes their windshield and the spray comes
Oh,
back
of
and
course.
hits you?
You're just like, fuck you.
I don't either.
I hate him.
I think that's weird when people.
I get a
Try,
ras-
try doing it. Try doing it on a motorcycle with your visor up. Then you have a little better reason to get mad.
I get irrationally mad.
Now I
anytime
kind of want to
I'm
do
at
that
the
to
shower,
motorcycle
man.
Yeah,
drivers.
me too.
You don't have to shower if that happens.
Hey.
You know that, right?
You never shower.
Throw the moonroof up and stick your head out.
Speaking of showers, this has been Nerdtastic in 3D episode.
Speaking
number
of people
54.
who need showers,
What?
Yeah, look at you.
Hey, let me improvise a new sign off. Hey, thanks.
is that Adam's out? Hey, you know what? Adam,
Adam,
Yeah,
take us out.
You take us out, Adam.
Take us out.
Shut up, bitches. We're out.
Nerdtastic.